What's up, Ragin Nation? How's it going? This is Alex, and you're watching the TF Movie Show. This is just a web series where we're talking about the Transformers film franchise. This is episode number 73, and it has been a while, probably 3 to 4 weeks since I last talked about Transformers 7, also known as Transformers Beast Alliance. At least that is its working title. I hope they stick with that title. I really like it. I already explained my reasons why in a previous episode, but yes, it has been a while since I put out an episode, but now I have a pretty big episode for you guys. I got a lot of updates. There's been a lot happening with regards to the production, simply because they're in production right now. So as we get closer to actual principal photography, meaning when they're filming on location, then oh man, the updates are gonna keep on pouring in. But for now, let's just talk about what we know. I'm gonna just recap on everything that has happened for the last couple of weeks. But we're first gonna start off by talking about another production that is the it has no title right now, but it's the animated Cybertron prequel directed by Oscar award-winning director Josh Cooley. We do have an official release year for it, okay? Not specifically a release date, but a release year, and that is 2023. Okay, this year it's 2021. Next year we're getting Transformers Beast Alliance in 2022. And then we're getting the Transformers animated prequel in 2023. And this was announced because Allspark Pictures president Greg Moradian actually shared the release slate for all these Hasbro Pictures, Hasbro Studios films, which included, of course, G.I. Joe Snake Eyes, which comes out this summer, actually like next month, as a matter of fact. And then we're getting Dungeons and Dragons, a Transformers film. There's even going to be a Clue, Monopoly, Micronauts, and Mask film. That's directed by F. Gary Gray. So Hasbro is really pulling out a lot of properties to be made into films, whether they're live action or animated. It is happening. So we got Beast Alliance next year, and then the year after that, the animated Cybertron prequel. So that's really exciting. So let's talk about Beast Alliance, okay? What is really going on right now? Well, they are filming. That is actually a fact. They are filming. They're filming in a studio, a closed studio set in Montreal. And Anthony Ramos was actually talking on the Fat Joe Show on his YouTube podcast. And he mentioned that they're already filming. They're already filming. It's happening. Like he's doing the training for it. They're filming. And it also involves driving stunts. It does involve driving. And what's really interesting about that is that when you really think about it and look back at the previous Transformers films, there really wasn't a whole lot of humans driving involved. When you really look back, all you can really think about is an Age of Extinction. The only character that really drove was Shane, played by Jack Rayner. And he is a race car driver. He drove I forgot, it's a Chevy something, okay? But he drove that at the beginning. He's driving away in that chase from Cemetery Wind, and then he drove backwards in Hong Kong. That's all the driving he did. So it's going to be very interesting to see Anthony Ramos' character be involved in driving stunts, stunt driving as well. So that's going to be really cool, because we didn't see any of that in Shia LaBeouf. I mean, with Shia LaBeouf's Sam Witwicky character, and we didn't really see that at all with Mark Wahlberg's Cade character in Transformers Last Night, or Isabella, I can't remember, in the Transformers Last Night. So there wasn't really any kind of stunt driving done by the human characters. So it's going to be really interesting to see what he's going to bring to the table with regards to actual driving. Okay, so very cool. Speaking of production, we have who's this? Patrick Curtin, and he's going to be the stunt coordinator for Transformers 7. And he has worked on 300, as well as a TV series, The Boys, which is on Amazon Prime, and he specializes in immolation stunts. So there's going to be explosions, as we already know, Michael Bay style. You know, that's never going to go away because there's going to be big action. But what he specializes in is immolation stunts. That means people are being set on fire. So I can just imagine, you know, military, I guess, military personnel going to be involved in explosion, going to be set on fire, and then their body's going to be ignited and like blown away. Okay, so that's something we can expect. Okay, even for a smaller film like Bumblebee, we got big Michael Bay style explosions. All right, so even though we're changing directors, none of that is going away. As a matter of fact, we're going to expect to see more of that, considering this one has a pretty big budget. We're talking about Michael Bay level budgets, you know what I'm saying? So that's going to be pretty huge. On a French Transformers fan site, there was an announcement for a casting call. They're looking for extras in Montreal, and they're also looking for extras with cars that are from the 90s, specifically 1994, and they cannot be yellow. They can't be yellow because, of course, Bumblebee is yellow, so they don't want to take away from that. But they're looking for cars from the 90s. And if you didn't already know, Transformers Beast Alliance is actually going to take place in 1992. I think it's 1992. But essentially it takes place 5 years after the events of Bumblebee. So Bumblebee took place in 1987. They're going 5 years later. We don't know what Haley Steinfeld's Charlie character is up to. Probably nothing that will be mentioned in the film. But perhaps the Bumblebee character will have an image of her at the very, very most. But in any case, we're talking about a whole new story which takes place years after the events of Bumblebee. So 1992, I'm really excited about that. That's going to be really, really cool to see like the 90s setting. Not just the setting and locations, but also the cars. Like I said, in this casting call on this French Transformers fan site, they're looking for casting call for extras with 90s vehicles. Have your vehicle featured in a big Hollywood blockbuster. So this is it. This is your big chance. Speaking of casting, they have already casted the role of Anthony Ramos' character's mom, and that is Luna Lauren Velez. And she says, I'm doing Transformers 7, which I'm very excited about. I play Anthony Ramos' mom in that film. There's some exciting stuff coming up. It really is. I have to confess that I haven't seen any of the films, so to come in a project like this at this moment is really great. I'm excited about that. It's going to be fun stuff. All right? So just like any other actor, of course, they would be excited to express themselves to star in a really big, big, big Hollywood action blockbuster film because, you know, I think that's a lot of actors' dreams and wishes to, you know, work in films in general, but to be in a really big blockbuster that everybody will go see. So that's very exciting for her. I'm very excited for her. And finally, this is the big one, okay? This one was posted on Angelo Montero's a Facebook page from the Transformers group Transformers Toys. And he says, as a truck driver... well, he didn't say that. Sorry, I got dust allergies. As a truck driver, I see and haul a lot of cool things, but this is by far the best. G1 Optimus Prime for the next movie. So you see it all wrapped up. Obviously, they got to keep it all wrapped up because they got to keep it under wraps. And then, obviously, if people see driving on the highway, they're gonna see a Optimus Prime like unwrapped. They're gonna go nuts. Okay, this is. I mean, there's no mistake about it. This is Optimus Prime. They're obviously keeping it wraps. And this is going to the movie set. Optimus Prime is going to retain his, his flat nose cab truck mode, as he should. After all, this is a very G1 inspired film. So that's awesome to see that. The only thing that I'm wondering about is if they're going to make any physical changes or like visual changes to the way he looks. Because they've always done that with Optimus Prime for the previous films. They always tweaked the way his model, you know, the way he looks, little tweaks here and there, right? Even if they didn't tweak his body, they would add stuff to him. Like, for example, Jetwing Prime, you know what I'm saying? Or if they changed him into the Western Star Age of Extinction Prime, and in the fifth movie, they would add more to him. Or at least change his paint job so that he's like Nemesis Prime, you know what I'm saying? So that way that the toy collectors have another version of Prime to buy. So I think there's going to be some visual changes, some physical changes. They're going to definitely give him a bit of an upgrade, for lack of a better term, but they're definitely going to change things up a bit, okay? Finally, this is streamed from the Slag podcast. Okay, this is a Transformers fan who got invited to the closed set in Montreal. Very, very lucky fan. And he went out to this stream to talk about what he saw. Now, the thing is that he did sign an NDA, so he's not allowed to talk about specific things that he saw. But he did say that he saw Optimus Prime is there for sure, as we already know from that previous image. But Bumblebee is there, but he takes on a different form. So just like I said before, these Transformers characters, from a merchandising standpoint, will have to take on different forms so that they don't end up selling the same thing that they bought from the last movie, right? So it's the 90s, so potentially he could be like a 90s Camaro. All right, maybe he liked the Camaro that he was before, and then he wanted to stay as a Camaro. After all, Paramount does have a thing, an agreement, or a great relationship with Chevy. So, these kind of things are elements or little variables that make them have these creative decisions to keep them as a Camaro. But in this case, it's potentially maybe a 91, 92 Camaro, who knows? But that's highly possible. All right, so perhaps they're going to keep with the whole Camaro thing. All right, I mean the Camaro model for Bumblebee as a thing. And also, he did mention that there are definitely Beast Wars characters in this film. He's not allowed to say which ones, but he did say that Beast Wars fans will be happy because a lot of these characters coming. All right, and that's all the news that I have for you guys. Now, I just want to speculate on a little bit. Okay. So this is all taking place in a closed set. He went to the closed set, in the studio, the soundstage, and he found about all this information. And this is, keep in mind, happening on a set, like a closed set, okay, like an interior set. So, which means that they're not filming outdoors. They're not filming in New York. New York, Montreal standing in for New York, okay? Could this be that there's going to be some action going on, like inside maybe a building or a ship, or something that involves a lot of green screen? So I don't know. I'm just throwing this out there. Like, I'm just throwing out the probability, like the probable set, set pieces. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is what could happen. And why is it that he's able to know which characters are going to be in it, which Beast Wars characters are going to be in it, unless he was just told or he actually saw placeholders for these characters? So I'm just throwing it out there. Now, does that mean that the characters that were flying in at the end of Bumblebee, those protoforms, were they those Beast characters? Could they have been those Beast characters? I definitely don't believe that it's any of the characters that we've seen before in the past, like Ironhide, Ratchet, Jazz. I don't think it's any of them, okay? I think that they're going to bring in brand new characters, and the only two characters that we saw, these Autobots characters that we saw in full form, besides Cliffjumper and the ones from Cybertron, are really Optimus Prime and Bumblebee. So they will retain their forms. They will look exactly the way, or look in some way, shape, or form the way they looked at the end of the Bumblebee movie. As for these other ones, these protoforms, they could be anything. They could be beasts for all we know. They could be all the Autobots or slash Maximals, but in their beast forms. So it could be anything. So I'm just throwing this out there as a speculation, because the fun in all this is, of course, speculating. Now, what is going on later on? Okay, as far as I know, July 4th is when they will be filming on location at Montreal. That's going to be really exciting. That's when they have we can have all these set reports, okay? This is what these people from Montreal saw, these Transformers fans. We're going to get some photos. We're probably going to see some things blow up. We're going to see a bunch of really cool cars. We're going to see Optimus and Bumblebee driving around. I think it's going to be hard to keep that under wraps, you know what I'm saying? Because they will be on a street. So it's going to be really exciting. I'm so excited I'm excited to wonder what we're going to end up seeing. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to see what we end up getting photos of on a few days after July 4th, right? Or right on July 4th if they can post it right away. But that's going to be fun, and I'm going to be here to talk about it, to speculate on it, and report about it. All right, so there you have it. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm still around. I know it's been weeks since my last update, but make no mistake about it, I'm here to stay because I'm really pumped up for this new movie. I'm really excited about this new direction. And there you have it. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Alex Yu, and I'll see you next time. Peace.